Welcome everyone to the Deeper Meeting. My name is Peter Byrne and today I'll be speaking with Anthony Lucia. Now this kid I met on my club baseball team playing in college. He is absolutely amazing. One of the most motivated people I know. He turned his passion for sneakers and baseball into a beautiful work of art. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here we go, Anthony Lucia. So, after I deleted 150 gigabytes worth of storage off of my card a few weeks ago, after we had a wonderful conversation, Anthony Lucia, proud owner of kdcustomkicks, is back on the podcast so that I can undo the wrongdoings.
Thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
I'm
really excited to be here.
back. It's not every day you get to talk to someone who's just about Instagram famous.
I wouldn't say Instagram famous, but it's kind of what we're striving for.
It's all right.
Maybe in 10 years we'll be at that point.
So
working towards it every day.
Well, that's all right. We got to talk about it a little bit. So, KD Custom Kicks.
Mhm.
I want to let you tell them what it is because you know it better than anybody else could. It's your child.
It is my child. Yeah, it's 2 years old now. I raised it myself in my own house.
Yes, you did.
My mother has helped me raise it as well. But KD Custom Kicks is basically just a custom footwear service that provides hand-painted sneakers and cleats like these right here.
They're so fresh.
Thank you, man. This took a while for me to make for myself because I didn't really have much time to do it.
Yeah.
So just trying to squeeze it
Little
in
by
like
little.
5 minutes every night for
All
3
right.
months.
Real quick, show them what's changed on these shoes.
So pretty much this entire cleat started all black. So the entire cleat, the upper portion, so everything above the gray, was completely black. And on this cleat I changed like the toe box and pretty much every panel to teal, gray, and pink, and left a little black in there. Kind of reminiscent of the South Beach Miami Vice kind of colorway. And I just have like a bunch of writing on this cleat that's kind of dedicated to what KD Custom Kicks is. It says like my name, my business partner Alex Katz's name, some inspirational stuff on this side. It says like imagine, I think it says create somewhere. And then this shoe is dedicated to Adelphi Club Baseball, which is the team that I play for. I tried to play on the varsity team my freshman year, but apparently being 5'4" doesn't land you a full scholarship.
Yeah, stick to cleats.
Yeah, this is gonna be where.
So
where I
right
stick
here, how do you dye that?
So with like the liner or the sock liner, you this was black. So basically, what I had to do is I use this special brand of paint and a paint additive that actually allows you to soak a fabric without it hardening.
Okay.
It's actually funny. So if you feel this shoe, I did this like 6 months ago.
Oh wow.
I was like,
Yeah,
I knew what I was doing, but not so much.
Oh wow.
And then this I did like a couple nights ago.
That's like sandpaper.
Yeah, this is not going to be comfortable, whereas this shoe is going to be really comfortable.
That's awesome.
So I basically spray. There's basically like this paint additive that makes the paint turn to fabric dye, and you just like mix it in an airbrush and spray this all white, and then spray it like maybe 4 or 5 coats of this teal color.
That's awesome.
And in between you use like a heat gun to like basically heat set the paint into the fabric and keep it, you know,
flexible,
soft and not
really
like
cool.
sandpaper.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of tricks you have to use, especially for the cleats, to make sure that they're durable, because it's not just about how they look, it's about how they hold up too.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to spend the money
How
on.
How many layers of paint and protection you have on one?
Depends on the shoe. Different materials. So like a plastic, you would have to paint pretty thick coats. This way, it's durable against like rocks hitting it and dirt, and it's not super flexible. So you use like a lot of coats of paint. Whereas something like leather, the paint, acrylic paint, is actually, it's not specifically made for leather, but this specific brand I use, it's called Angelus.
Yeah.
And there's another one called Jacquard.
Okay.
They're made specifically for leather and synthetic materials that are on sneakers and cleats. So this is only about 4 coats, and you don't want to do really any more or less than that, because too little, it's not going to be durable.
Okay.
And too much, when you flex the shoe, it's going to crack. So you gotta just like trial and error.
It's a work of art.
Most pairs come out like works of art. Some pairs, you know, get thrown in the tester bin, and
That's okay.
have to buy a couple new pairs.
That's
but
all right.
yeah, that's all part of the process, and
So
have fun doing it.
What are some of the biggest orders you've gotten, like from professionals or anybody that you think?
So in terms of like clientele, I'd say it's hard to like rank clientele, but I'd say in terms of presence in baseball, Aaron Judge was probably one of the biggest ones, up there with David Wright, Adam Jones, and I'd say those are probably the top 3 biggest guys I've gotten. Med Rosario.
I was going to say, you have a few more
Yeah.
from the MLB,
A lot
at
of
least.
guys. Yeah, so we have about, now I'd say 7 dozen clients from Major League Baseball.
That's a lot.
It is. You know, some guys order more than others.
Right.
You know, some guys, it's not even them ordering, it's their agencies ordering. So
That's really cool.
you know, just kind of through networking and connections, it's about 7 dozen guys.
Wow. That's awesome. And now, last time we talked a little bit about David Wright's cleats. You know, since I don't have that anymore. So like, just remind me and tell everybody, because this is their first time, even though it's, you know, second time I'm hearing it. Why did it mean something to you?
So for me, growing up as a huge Mets fan, well, to start off, in September, David Wright announced his retirement. And once I heard that he was retiring, I had a connection at his agency for privacy purposes. I'm not going to say the name of the agency, but I had a connection there, and I blew up the guy's phone. I was emailing him, texting him. I left him voicemails. I was calling him in the middle of class. I was sitting in finance class, just like, please answer the phone, and basically just begging to get in touch with somebody that was connected to David Wright.
You hear a lot of stories that start like that.
Yeah, he's actually the background right here.
There you go.
And let me see. If you scroll down, you could actually see, kind of like right in that area, he's like wearing the cleats. Basically, just called, screaming, begging for some sort of connection to David Wright. I was offering to do a pair of cleats for him to wear in his last series playing with the Mets.
Yeah.
And you know, I'd say within 10 minutes I heard back. I was super excited that they were just going to give me even the slightest opportunity to talk to someone connected to David. It still wasn't even at the point of talking to David. It was just getting in contact with somebody who could represent him. And 10 minutes I heard back. The guy said, yeah, no problem, I'll forward over your information. Another half hour later, I got a call from, I guess what would be David's equipment agent. He was such a big star that He had a contract, like a negotiator as an agent, and
that's crazy.
an equipment guy.
Wow.
And the equipment guy called me, and he said, "Oh, I love the idea." I was just basically explaining to him that I've been a Mets fan my whole life, and this would be just a present of life to me, basically, like something that I'd be grateful for the rest of my life. And I didn't want anything from it. I just wanted the opportunity to hand David a pair of cleats for his last game. And he said, "All right, I'll talk to David about it. I'll get back to you." And 10 minutes later, he was like, "Oh, David's so excited. He's going to send you 2 pairs. Is that okay?"
That's great.
I was like, "All right, yeah, sure."
Honestly, it's beautiful. It's like because you grew up your whole life, and it's like, you were probably this big.
Oh, yeah.
And you were thinking like, wow, I wish I could meet David Wright, or anything. I wish I could have anything to do with David Wright.
No, absolutely. It was very special, and I was very grateful for it. In the moment, like, I was so excited being able to talk to him and see him, and it was weird because in the moment, it didn't feel like I was talking to this
celebrity.
I guess he was a 7-time All-Star.
To a god.
I didn't feel like I was talking to somebody like that. I felt like it was just like you and me talking. And once the conversation ended and I turned around and started to head out of the dugout, like, it just hit me, and it was like, whoa, like, I do not belong here. I belong up there. And it was just such an awesome experience.
Yeah, but this is like, you're on the field.
Yeah.
You're on the field in a lot of places
at
a lot of times. It's really cool.
Very lucky to have that kind of access. It's something that all baseball fans, or any sports fan, grow up dreaming about, being able to go on the court or the field.
And so, like last time, we talked a little bit about like your passion, right? And how your passion kind of is the reason that this all started in the first place, right? And so, like, let's walk through how the passion helped you get what you've gotten.
So I've always been passionate about baseball since I'm a little kid. Always played. Was just always super interested in following the sport. And I would say around 9th grade I got into sneaker collecting. And I've carried that along with my passion for baseball throughout the rest of my life. And I guess kind of just being given the opportunity to combine the passion for baseball and the passion for sneakers, this is kind of like the perfect mix of the two. Yeah. And it just makes perfect sense for me to be involved in something like this, whether it's something that's super super small and contained, or something that hopefully one day ends up turning into a full-time job. Either way, it's just fun to be a part of something like this.
And how hard is this?
It's a learning there's a learning curve to it, I guess is the way to put it. It's not difficult, but if you put your mind to it and you for me, I've been blessed with the opportunity to work on hundreds and hundreds of pairs, so I've been able to learn quickly because I had the opportunity.
Right.
But for someone who has only limited, I guess, pairs to work on, it might take you a little more time. But if you put your mind to it and you sit down and you have the patience for it, which I had to learn that too. It's something that anybody can do. It's it's a skill,
right?
But at the same time, it's not like architecture where you have to create a building. It's something that you can pick up and have a passion for and follow it and figure it out.
So what do you think? What do you think is the skill that you have? That's kind of. I mean, listen.
That's a tough question.
Like we have to be honest for a second and just acknowledge the work, right? And you can see it yourself, and you're the creator, so you're never gonna say that it's as beautiful as it is, but it's pretty amazing because, and I've told you before, on the outside looking in, everything looks perfect.
Oh,
you know what I mean? It's like
sure.
You look at the cleats on the screen, you look at the cleats on this screen, and you're just like, God damn. Like, it's insane because even looking at these, like, and I think I haven't seen one of your cleats up front, like right in my hands, and it's cool to look at it because you see minor imperfections.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, I don't know, it adds that
a little bit of like character.
Exactly, that extra character. But it's like it's beautiful. Like it's something like if I sat down and I had a pen and a paper, and I tried to draw a smiley face, I don't know, I could go to jail for how bad it came.
I mean, I'm pretty much the same way. If you hand me like a canvas and a big paintbrush and a big easel, it's not gonna look too pretty.
Okay, so if it's not raw talent, right? If it's not pure artistic ability, then what's the skill? Like what? How can you do it?
I don't know. I mean, I guess the talent per se would be like the desire to learn and the desire to improve the work every single time I pick up an airbrush or a paintbrush, and every time I pick up a shoe.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess I would say that's the talent. It's the drive. Not even a talent. It's the drive to want to improve.
What, if anything, in your life story, and this is not including just KD Customs or baseball, do you think has fostered drive?
That's actually a really good question. Wow. I guess because I grew up with a single mom. I always saw her working, and she always worked multiple jobs. 2, 3 jobs. This is, I guess
we love you, Mom.
This, I guess, like for the first time in a while, like the past couple of years has been the first time since I can remember that my mom's only worked one job. So seeing that kind of drive in her, I guess from a young age I was just always around her and seeing her work hard. So I guess I don't know if it's genetically or just from my environment.
I really think that like that's one of those beautiful lessons where you kind of become the people you're around the most, and so it's like watching her with that determination and that drive, and not only that, but the responsibility, right? She had you, and she had to take care of you.
Exactly.
She had to provide for you. You know, and those are all things. I'm sure those are qualities, and you probably have more qualities, from her than you even recognize.
Definitely.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I always, my mom was never hard on me about like who my friends were, like I guess like what like their extracurricular activities were, but it was just always like be around people that have like the same kind of characteristics as you, and have a drive or a passion for something. Doesn't matter what it is, but just good qualities.
There's like that's the distinguishing factor there, though. Like you say, be around people who have the same qualities as you. Yeah, the general qualities of hard work and integrity and kindness. Whatever you want to say. Not the people who are into the same things as you. Yeah. Right?
Big
and so
difference.
It's like, because I want to spend lots of time around you because of those defining qualities, but I'm not a sneakerhead, right? Yeah. And I suck at baseball.
Your stats might say a little different. I wouldn't be too hard on yourself.
No, but I'm washed
He's lying.
up.
He was one of the best players on the club team.
I'm washed up. So
he's lying.
But it's like so I want to spend time around you for those qualities, right? And it's like you want to be around a team of people who can bring something else to the table. Because maybe you know something about cleats that I don't know, something about customizing, something about design, and then maybe I know something about something else.
Exactly.
I don't know what it might be, but maybe I have something I can offer you that's going to bring your cleat game up, and your cleats and your designs might bring something in my game up.
Absolutely, yeah. I think everybody that you cross paths with, if they stick around for, like, I guess, not like a definitive moment or period of time, but like a reasonable amount of time in your life, there's like a reason that person's around, and there is something that they're offering you that may not be there immediately, or you may not see immediately.
You gotta find it, right?
But over time, you'll start to process things, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember that person talking about that thing, or
I love that.
There's always something for everybody who's involved in a network of people or friends that can offer one of them.
Yeah. That's beautiful. So how about let's talk about, I don't want to say struggle, but let's talk about some of the lessons, right? What have you learned through this? How have you obviously have grown, right? The growth is presented by your work and by, your social media and the progression of the art, essentially from then to now. But what were some of the struggles and what were some of the biggest lessons that have either helped you get to where you are today in KD Customs, or helped you get to where you are today in terms of who you are?
It's so crazy to think about that, because it's not necessarily that this company has redefined me, but it's brought out or taught me qualities about my personality that I never recognized or never had. And
Do you have any in mind?
patience is the big one.
Okay.
I've never been a patient person in my entire life, and I'm still not patient with a lot of things. But when it comes to something that requires a lot of time or attention or detail, even studying for a test, having to sit down and do something for, I've sat down for 13 hours straight,
Right.
eating or drinking a thing,
Right.
and just painted
Yeah.
and enjoyed it.
Yep.
So having that or learning that ability
Yeah.
has helped me in a ton of other aspects.
That's fantastic.
Being able to break things down piece by piece and figure it out. Because when you get impatient with this stuff, you end up with paint everywhere. The cleats look terrible. It's just not a good time. I'm throwing pillows all over my room. My mom's not happy. The dog's bark. It's when there's no patience, it's bad.
Yeah.
And I learned that very quickly. And just knowing how to handle times of struggle or stress has been absolutely massive.
Yeah, that's great. So, before I move on, you have elders, or you think that's pretty much it? It's okay. That's a good lesson, I think.
Yeah, as far as
honestly.
struggles, having to listen to rules.
That's true.
Major League Baseball is putting in all these new regulations, and
So what you're saying is I couldn't wear this.
Oh, absolutely not.
Why not?
They would not.
What's
approve,
wrong with this? What's
They would not approve the colors. maybe for
Miami.
Maybe for the Marlins they would. But that would be the only team. So, kind of having to find a balance between creativity and regulatory. I don't even know how to word it.
Yeah.
Finding a balance between creativity and listening to rules.
Within the rules.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that too, running your own company, you don't have to listen to anybody
Right.
really.
That is real hard, honestly. I can only imagine, and even I've had some experiences like this, where I come in and I've got ideas, and I'm a genius, so my ideas must be better than your ideas.
Exactly.
And then you tell me that I can't use my ideas, and I say, what the fuck? And I get frustrated. So it's I can't even imagine, because especially when you can create something so cool, and you're told take it back. You gotta dial it back a notch. That's not an easy thing.
No, and especially coming from, I guess, a source that doesn't understand the process of what actually goes into doing this. It's very frustrating, but also at the same time, they're offering me just an incredible opportunity, so I can only get so mad. It's you gotta find the balance.
Right, absolutely. Yeah.
So.
Well, I think as time kind of progresses, and as your relationship with these people progress, and I know these are new regulations that are kind of just starting, but that's only because these are new, right?
Yeah, I guess especially in baseball,
Yes.
it's very new.
And so over time, I think, and honest to God, if you're on the Mets and you're wearing a pair of cleats like that, that's not your team, right?
Probably getting drilled.
Right, because it's not your team, Like, and I think especially I think sport is so rooted in tradition and in honor, and it's like if you're dishonoring the team in any way, I can understand that to a point,
Yeah.
right? And maybe as a creator, you have that responsibility to withhold or uphold what that team is about. And the players have a responsibility to uphold what that team is about. And so, yeah, I don't think if I was on that team that I would even ask you for a pair like that, Not because they're not beautiful or not because they're not cool, like I would wear those, right? But if I was on the Mets, yeah, people might be like, dude,
What are you doing?
represent your team, right?
Yeah, no, I actually never thought about it like that. Up until this point, actually, I kind of just thought that they were, baseball was just trying to be a pain in the butt because they
Right.
could be. But yeah, there's definitely a connection between like the players and the class and
Right.
the upscale tradition and I guess just whole mantra of what baseball is. It's the
Right.
gentleman's sport.
Yeah.
It's America's pastime.
Yeah.
You wear a belt, your shirt tucked in, a
Yeah.
hat. No other sport's like that.
Mm-hmm.
You wear long pants. There's no other sport
True.
that has this kind of uniform.
It's
So
true.
I guess when you think about it in that sense, yeah, they're definitely trying to kind of pull back that old school tradition
Right.
and reroute
Right.
it into these young players.
And you know what it is, like, you've got the talent and the skills to create something beautiful still within,
Guideline.
right.
Yeah.
And so we can look at it and we can complain, right? Or obviously not me. You can look at it and complain, or you can look at it and you can say, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take that challenge and I'm going to kick its ass,
You're right.
right? And so, I think
This
that's
is why I
just
talk to this guy. This is why I talk to him.
it's perspective. Perspective is a big thing, and so, that's the thing though, because when you first told me about it, when you first were like, oh, the MLB is, trying to kind of put a damper on my, what I could do with the cleats. And my instant thought is like, oh man, screw big business. They're just trying to screw the little guy. But yeah, I think like it comes down to how you're gonna take it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I think if you can take it and like honor those decisions and those rules, you feel better, right? And then they feel better,
Mm-hmm.
and the relationship can only get better from there.
You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I never. See, this is where the patience thing comes in.
There you
It's
go.
like I didn't take the time to actually like try to process what they're
and
trying
that's
to do,
okay.
but that's probably accurate.
Sometimes you need the outside perspective. looking in.
Absolutely. That's
I'm not
huge.
emotionally connected to you or your company or to honestly, I love baseball,
Mm-hmm.
playing baseball. I couldn't tell you the name of 4 players at this point I don't even think in the MLB. Aaron Judge.
He counts as 2. He's big. He counts as 2.
Who is even still playing? Like all the people that I knew, they don't play anymore.
Mm.
Who? Hold on.
CC Sabathia, you would know.
He's still there.
This is his last year.
Okay, there we go.
He's
All right.
still there. Why?
All right. What about
He had a good year last year.
Jose Reyes still playing?
No, he didn't sign with a team yet this year.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Sports Network.
I hope he does. He's still got a lot of talent left.
They want me.
Yeah, they're calling your name. They're opening spots for you.
Oh, wait. DeGrom?
Yes.
All right, I'm just picturing.
there.
I'm picturing the jerseys. I'm picturing my little brother right now. That's it. That's what I got. That's honestly off the
Alright.
top of my. The fact that I can't rattle off 4 off the top of my head sucks.
It's hard. There's new guys coming up and down every single day.
But I gotta. My point is, I'm clearly not emotionally invested in this stuff, and so I have the opportunity to look at it from like, kind of a rational, very objective perspective.
Yeah.
Whereas you, don't tell my child what to wear.
Exactly.
Fuck off.
And especially being so, I guess, connected to baseball my whole life and watching professional baseball and studying the game and looking at statistics and for a while collecting baseball
coach
cards.
too.
If depends who you ask.
You're a good coach.
Depends who you ask. I appreciate that though. Thank you.
You got it.
But basically, having to separate business from being a fan. So being a business involved in baseball and being a fan of baseball, having to divide those two is
Right.
At first, that was probably my biggest challenge because I didn't understand how to react to these players reaching out to me and talking to me. I was at first so starstruck. I'd see like the little verified check and I'd be like, "Oh my god, this guy's talking to me!" Like even when I met my business partner Alex,
Yeah.
I knew who he was because of his presence on Instagram. You know, he had 20-something thousand followers. He was a local guy, played pro ball. So I knew who he was, and when I met him, I was like, "Oh my god, I'm shaking hands with Alex Katz. Like this is crazy to me." And then like 3 months later, he's like sitting in my kitchen, and we're painting shoes, and we're talking about like growing this Instagram page. And I'm like, what
That's
happened
so cool,
here?
though.
Like, how did this?
That's so cool, though.
It's very cool.
So what do you think you guys need in order to continue to grow right now?
Right now, the biggest, I guess, issue that we're having, I guess depending how you look at it, it could be a really good issue or a really bad issue, is the turnaround time on orders. Right. So because it's only mainly me as the only artist, you know, when there's 200 orders placed within a 3-month time span,
right,
turnaround time gets super backed up.
Absolutely.
And you know, right now it's way longer than we'd like it. You know, when we started, we had the turnaround time at 2 to 3 weeks, which is reasonable.
Yeah.
You know, 5 to 6 months is not reasonable. The baseball season is only 7 months. Like, guys aren't going to wait till the end of the season for their shoes. Yeah. So, in order to grow, we need to figure out a way to get more artists on board.
Okay.
I have this one artist. Her name is Natasha. She does a lot of our portrait work. Right. And she's awesome. But she works on commission out of an art gallery. Right. And we don't really have, at the moment, we will this year, a consistent flow of orders. You know, I'd say about a month ago, the consistency has been awesome. Right. But she's obviously not going to work full time for us. Right. You know, this is going to be like her side thing.
And that's okay if you have enough people.
Yeah, we just need people. The right people, though.
The right people. What are you looking for, though? Like, what kind of people?
More than just an artist, because that's obviously the most important thing. You know, someone who could be better than me. You know, that's what I'm looking for. Is someone who can have better quality work than me.
And is it the design that you're talking about? Is it the process? Because the process is more than just drawing. It's more than just painting. It's more than just sketching.
There's technique to it.
And so no matter who you brought on, you got a lot of stuff to learn.
Yes. About
prepping, about finishing, and about testing all of the shoes too. Yeah. Right? And so are you looking for people who are going to take a cleat from start to finish, or are you looking for an assembly line of people who can do a very specific job? And like we talked about it a little bit, someone can prep for you, maybe someone can finish for you. Yeah. Maybe someone can do some kind of work in between, and you only have to focus on a very particular piece of it, right? Because where you are, like your importance isn't prepping, and it isn't even finishing. Your importance as the artist, right, as the primary person, is the design, right? Yeah. Because I know how you've told me how it works, right? The amount of effort that goes into prepping, and the amount of effort that goes into being careful with the design process in the first place, and then the finishing and the testing that you guys do, which is pretty extensive. Yeah. But if I didn't know that, all I would say is the only important thing here is Ant 2019 in
Mhm.
Delphi. I don't care that you sat
the
there for
process.
2 hours and taped the shoe,
Yeah.
maybe 3 hours. I don't care that you sat there and you scraped it with sandpaper, you know. So it's like you are the design.
Mm-hmm.
You're not necessarily the process. And so if you can get people to help you with the process,
Yeah.
that might make your life easier.
Yeah, so an assembly line, as far as you're speaking, would be kind of tough because, you know, let's say we had people doing each individual part of the design process alone. So let's say maybe one person does like all the pink on the shoe, and then the next person does all the teal on the shoe, and then the next person does all the stenciling and the writing on the shoe, and then the next person does touch-ups. Like, to have an assembly line like that, I feel like would almost be counterintuitive, because if you're handing something, let's say you're handing a blank canvas over to 5 artists. The first artist is going to do his thing, the second artist is going to do their own thing, and you're going to end up with 5 different ideas in one design.
Right.
And it might be really, really good, or it might be a disaster.
Right.
So I think as far as, like, you're saying with just the, like, process at the beginning and end, you know, surrounding the actual design, I think that's going to be a big key to us being able to grow and scale everything.
Right.
Absolutely. You know, the prep work is easily, in my opinion, far more difficult than the artwork, because, you know, for something like the leather, it's just kind of rubbing the material with rubbing alcohol to make sure that the paint sticks to the material.
Right.
But something like plastic, you know, you're sitting there sanding it with 3 different types of sandpaper, and, you know, you have to make sure there's like grooves all over the place. It's very, very particular, and for me, knowing what it's supposed to look like, if I would have to find someone super trustworthy that I can hand that over to and say, I know you're going to do it perfect every single time, and when I get the shoe, all I have to do is paint, and I don't have to go back, I don't have to touch up. And finding that person's tough, because even for me, like, you can even tell on this pair, like I'm going to point out my own imperfections. Like, there's like little pieces of like paint that are just, you know, that's okay.
Right.
But the closer that can get to perfect, the better that we're going to be as a company, and the more that we're going to be able to grow, and the more that we're going to be trusted.
It's cyclical. There's, you know, there's the problem of not enough time for you to fill the amount of orders, right? And in order to fix that, you need good people, which initially is going to take more time for you, because you have to teach them, right? And then there's the possibility that they're not giving you quality, right? But in order to get the time that you need to do more work, eventually that's what you're going to need.
Yeah.
Either that, or, you know, we spoke briefly about some kind of machine that could do some of the work.
Yeah.
But then, you know,
The integrity of the products coming out the window.
Exactly.
Which may be okay if we, you know, knock on wood, one day end up having, you know, thousands of orders, and there's just not enough manpower available to us, and we do resort to a machine, you know, maybe that is okay. But that's a tough market to compete in, because then you're up against like Nike and Under Armour, and you don't usually win in those kind of scenarios.
Probably not. Probably not.
But, you know, maybe that is a solution one day, and we don't know. But totally open to that being a possibility one day.
Okay.
Because that'd be kind of cool. Imagine just like this big machine, like this big cloth thing that just like shoots like ink and paint, and you just have this like sick design left, and you're like, wow, I just had to press a button and I got this. It's
someday. Well, honestly, if they don't already have something that can do that, then eventually there's just another patent down the road.
Gotta call up Elon Musk to develop that one.
those are those things where it's like you're not gonna be a millionaire if you're sitting in your kitchen or you're sitting in your room hand painting shoes all the time, right? And so there is going to be a little diversification of what you guys are doing eventually.
Yeah.
Still be related, but you don't know, man. Maybe you get a team together someday, and this could be down the line. Obviously, it's not going to be tomorrow, but you get a team of people like engineers, designers, and this and that and the other thing, and they put together a machine that can do that.
That'd be awesome.
Are you not going to make money off of it?
Yeah, no, you will. And if it's already, as long as I already have the clientele,
right?
That's where you kind of have the freedom to develop the business however you want, because you have the loyal customer base.
So, and I was also, I was thinking about it for a little while, because you had brought up to me that part of what you guys do is you offer, these beautiful designs for lower prices than a lot of your competitors.
Yes.
And that's great, except your pocket is, struggling, right?
Because it takes a lot of volume.
You don't have... Unfortunately, this world fucking runs on money.
Yeah,
right?
It does.
At the end of the day,
Absolutely.
If you're not making enough money to support your business, your passion, and the designs in the first place, like, you live at home right now.
Yeah.
Which is fucking great.
Yeah.
Until you don't anymore.
Then you're in big
and
trouble.
And then, like, I'm not going to talk actual numbers, right, about what you guys are actually making. But right now it's not enough to support two people going out on their own and trying to have a career in this.
No, and that's our goal.
Right.
To get it to
is
that.
to make it that.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, and I like to do a lot of, thinking about ideas for people that I want to support, so sometimes I'll talk to different people about it, and without using names or specifics, I just say, like, this is a situation, what do you guys think, like, we could do, or these people could do to improve that situation? And so, my dad's one of those people who is he comes up with creative solutions to problems.
Which is the way to do it.
Which is the way to do it. And so, he said this thing, and it's going to sound so familiar to you once you hear it. What if you're David Wright? I'm you.
I'd love to be David
Wright. Alright? Like, Dave, here's a pair for you, and here's a pair
They smell so good.
that I'm donating to somebody in need, to a kid in need. A matching pair of cleats to a kid in need. The only difference is now, instead of charging you $350 a pair, I'm going to charge you $600 a pair. Because one pair is going to you and one pair is going to someone else, right? And you can keep that money, or you can put that money toward that kind of foundation, that kind of non-for-profit work. And that might help you guys grow, right? If you were... And
That's actually a great idea.
I don't know if that's something that's possible.
That's a great idea.
But people would be willing... it's like Tom's, right?
Yes.
Buy a pair, donate a pair.
Yes.
People love...
It's a great business model, by the way.
It is. People love to feel like when they're buying something, they're also giving something back in return. And so if you were able to get contracts with professional players who already have plenty of... It's not the money for them that matters, right? And so if they... And that helps their self-image, too.
Absolutely.
If they donated a pair of cleats, or tons of pairs of cleats, to kids in need, and that was run via you,
that'd be huge.
That would be something that might, help you guys. That could catapult you guys into something new.
Yeah, because I remember when, pardon me if I get the name of the school wrong. I think it was, I forget, what was the name of the school? In Stoneman Douglas, the school shooting that happened,
Okay.
I believe, like a year and a half ago. A player in the athletics organization, he ordered a pair of cleats. He went to that high school and, wanted the initials of the... Horrible that I even had to make these cleats, but the initials of the children that, were killed, and the school logo, and just wanted these cleats dedicated to
Right.
um, the cause and raising awareness for what happened. And I don't know exactly what he did with the cleats, but I know when we got paid for those cleats,
Right.
we sent it to the GoFundMe, and we didn't make $1 off the cleats, and it wasn't effective business financially, but both Alex and I, and when we let the client know that that's what we did with the money, we all just felt so fulfilled.
Right.
So being able to, the way that Tom's does it, find a balance between
Right.
making money and being able to give, whether it's money or cleats or
Right.
something to
Right.
people who are in need, that's awesome.
Right.
It's great.
And so, and you can take those things a few different ways, right? Like you said, you took that GoFundMe, or you took the money that you got for them and you sent it right to the GoFundMe.
Yeah.
You could take the matching pair of cleats and raffle it off to a cause of your choice,
And the
or
money
of the
goes
choosing.
towards, yeah.
Right. And
We'd love to be involved in stuff like that. That's
Right.
so great. I
And
love
so-
that stuff.
Yeah. And so, there are people out there. I can't say I know anyone, but I know that there are people out there who are really involved. Oh, maybe I do. One of my friends, one of her passions is empowering underprivileged kids at school,
Okay.
right? And so maybe something that she could put in work for on one end, if she could get groups of kids or schools or any organizations that are looking for those kinds of things, and she could put that work in on her end, and then maybe you can be on the opposite end and you just provide the cleat, or you provide the raffle, or the fund for whatever those kids
Yeah.
need, and it's not going to increase what you have financially right away in regards to that
Yeah.
stuff, but I do believe that I pay an extra $150 for anything if I'm already spending the money,
Yeah.
to know that it matters. To know that it's not just because I want a cool pair of cleats, because now someone else is benefiting from what I'm getting, right?
It's not just the company benefiting,
Exactly.
it's other people.
And that makes me feel even better too.
Absolutely.
Like, I love you, right? And it's like, I would love to be able to support you and buy these things, but it's like, having that extra little bit, like, it's not all going to you, it's also going somewhere else. That's a beautiful thing.
It is. Yeah, and like you said, like, a lot of companies, I wouldn't say like any company in particular, but a lot of companies will do it for like the tax benefit, and they don't do it for the right reason. But at the end of the day,
you gotta do it.
at the end of the day, like, any form of being able to donate something is like just awesome.
Right.
Like, I'm even thinking now, like, if we were able to figure out a way to like kind of bridge the gap between maybe like a charity that we find that has a collection of kids or people who are in need of something, and companies like Adidas and New Balance that we work closely with, and say, hey, we're working on this deal with you on figuring out a way to get your clients the best cleats and the nicest pairs of cleats that we can make. Maybe instead of just paying us for those cleats, would you mind sending over pieces of clothing or cleats as well, that we're not going to keep, or we're going to paint for you guys. We're going to go ahead and find a place for people that need them, and now we're kind of like that centerpiece between the charity and the big company, and now they look awesome, and those people that are involved in that are going to feel fantastic, that now not only are they connected to what they may think is like this like cool little company that paints shoes, but they're also now connected to this charity that is giving back to all these people.
It pays to be in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, literally, what this is about is me trying to create a platform for people where they can express their talents, they can express their beliefs, they can express all of their experiences and what they love here. And if I can give them a place where they can do all of that, and if it helps them even a little bit, if I can give them even a little bit of value just by, sitting here and offering a suggestion.
I mean, that's a great idea. I love it.
Then eventually, like, you're not paying me, and I don't want jack, right? Like, I will never expect anybody to pay me for a plug or to pay me for a suggestion, unless I'm doing consulting specifically, right? But the point of this right now is to give people that for free, to add value to them, because if I add value to you, you're going to go out and you're going to add value to others too, right? And so I'm in the middle. I don't get anything right away, but in the long run, like, when you're successful as fuck, right? When you've got enough money that you don't need to worry about anything anymore, you might think back one day and be like, he helped me out, right? And God forbid, but if I'm fucked in a few years, right, and I'm down on my luck or something, and I really need a little bit of investment for this, or I need
you're trying
anything,
to do something,
and you'll be like, I got you, bro.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what it's all about.
No, absolutely.
It's all about and so that's like being in the middle is just so
creating that network.
Exactly.
Because that may connect you. Maybe I know somebody, and that connects you to them, and something forms from that relationship, where you connect me to somebody, and just I feel like, aside from like getting to work with professional athletes or people that are famous, I think so much more than that is just like the people that we get to network with, because away from the field, like, these are just regular people, and they just happen to have a really cool job, and a lot of them, like David Wright, are involved in a lot of like charities. Like, he has his own charity, and he's involved in a lot of giving back to the community and raising awareness for, I think the Mets do some sort of like cancer drive. They do the Mets Christmas, where they bring a bunch of kids to Toys R Us. I think being a part of stuff like that is so fulfilling for these regular people away from their job, because you're providing entertainment and happiness for people that are watching you on the field, but what's even more valuable is what you're offering off the field.
And they have a ridiculous reach.
Yeah, that's really the big thing.
And the worst thing in the world is to have a reach like that, and have the opportunity, and to do nothing with it, right? And so, and let me be outrageous for a second. I know I said an extra $150 before for like the extra pair of cleats, but if we're thinking like these people have their own charitable organizations, man, why wouldn't they be able to give you $1,000, right, for the two pairs? $2,000 for the two pairs. They wear one, they sign the other, they auction it off.
Yeah.
Man, like, and then all of that money goes right towards their organization.
Nobody benefiting from that. It's just being able to offer something to people who are in need.
Right, and so you get
I love that stuff.
That extra volume. They get the extra, thing to help their organization, and everybody feels good. Everyone benefits from that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I've thought about like working with charities, just not necessarily how to.
Right.
I think that this is like an awesome idea.
That's awesome. I mean, and for now, where can we all watch it happen, right? Tell us where you are.
If you want to stay up to date on newest pieces of work, newest clients, newest projects, newest experiences, because we're really fortunate to have the opportunity to go cool places and, like I said, meet cool people. You can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at kdcustomkicks.
Yep.
You can email us if you're interested in ordering or want to say hi, kdcustomkicks@gmail.com. And we just started a YouTube page, which is
Nice.
also
That's great.
KD Custom Kicks,
Good.
because that's another platform that has such a great reach, and
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, I wanted to talk to you about that. Remember last time? Man, I was about to cut it. Remember last time when I was talking to you about, like, you gotta get videos and you gotta get
Yeah.
pictures and you gotta get this? I was just listening to Gary Vee this morning about volume. And it's just like, he's like, record everything
Yeah.
in video. You can cut little pieces into cool clips to have on Instagram and Facebook.
yeah,
You can put full form videos on YouTube, right? And that's another thing. And now you've got a YouTube channel.
Mhm.
You can literally cut the audio from these kinds of things that you do, and now you've got a podcast. And now not only are you on Instagram and a website, now you're on Instagram, Facebook, a website, you're on Spotify with a podcast, you're here, you're there. It's like just all about the volume.
yeah, no,
Right,
absolutely.
so that's awesome though. That's awesome that you guys are doing that.
Yeah,
That's
we
really cool.
we've always talked about doing it. Just haven't had the time, but we decided in the past couple weeks
Good.
to make the
Good.
time.
Because it doesn't take time. Those things are standing
We're
by
already doing
themselves,
it. Yeah,
right?
we're already doing the
Like,
work.
I would like to have this conversation with you regardless, so why not just film
Record
it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And hopefully there's some really cool things that we got from this
Absolutely.
that we can both use on our respective platforms. And that's it.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think it's
Yeah.
a great, positive idea.
Yeah. So that's
what
all.
it's about.
Anyway, at KD Custom Kicks.
Yeah, kdcustomkicks.com.
kdcustomkicks.com. We love it. We're happy. I'm amazed by you.
Thank you for having me.
It's great,
Appreciate it.
and I can only imagine the success coming in the
Hope
future.
so, man.
All
Hope
right.
so.